All right. Hello, Q Careers. My name is Rafael, and today I'm conducting a student interview to get a better idea of how the college life is for myself and for our guest today, who is Joseph. First of all, for myself, my name is Rafael. I'm a student at the University of South Florida, and I study chemistry. I'm a second year student and turned 19 this year. So that's a little bit of introduction for myself. But first, let's meet our new guest before we get into any questions. Joseph, go ahead and let us know where you're from, how old you are, what school you go to, and what you're studying.
Okay. Hey guys, my name is Joseph and I am 20 years old. I go to the University of Central Oklahoma and I am studying electrical engineering right now. So, yeah,
Awesome, electrical engineering. Very cool, very cool. All right, so let's get into it then. So University of Central Oklahoma, you said, right?
right.
So cool. How did you go about getting to that school, and was there anything that helped you along the way picking that school? What was that whole process like?
Well, I was actually when I was going to a community college and trying to finish my associates. So after that,
Okay,
I was looking actually at a different college, but I
sure.
ended up deciding to go to UCO just because they have that degree that I have, and it would probably also be cheaper. So,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
and
for sure,
that's
for sure. I know I've heard of the at least from here from Florida. I don't know too much about Oklahoma, but I've heard obviously of the University of Oklahoma. I guess that's like the
right.
biggest school in your state.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how go ahead.
There's pretty much two big ones: the University of Oklahoma and then Oklahoma State
Oklahoma State,
University.
right? Right, right, right. So
Yeah.
then UCO, am is like I'm assuming that's maybe a little bit of a smaller college.
Yeah, it's a little bit of smaller college. It's in a place called Edmond. It's like a
Okay.
little smaller city, I guess. It's still big, but it's not as big as Norman or Stillwater, some
Right,
of
right,
those
right.
places. Yeah.
No, I got you. Cool, cool. Yeah, it's kind of the same situation for me. So, obviously from Florida, you may have heard of like University of Florida or Florida State
Mhm.
University. Like those are the two big ones. University of Miami is a big one too. But
Right.
University of South Florida, it's in Tampa, Florida, which is still a big urban area here in Florida. But yeah, it's kind of a
Uh-huh.
smaller school. And I know in high school, like all my friends were like, "Yeah, I want to go to UF." Like that was like the big like holy grail or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
But this one is like local. It's kind of
Right.
smaller. Still a lot of people. It's a little bit smaller, cheaper. So I was like, yeah, I kind of stumbled upon it, but it was kind of cool how it happened because, um, yeah, like you said, what I wanted to study was still there,
Uh-huh.
for a better price, and the opportunity was there. Um,
Right.
so
Right.
yeah, I think
That's
the
good.
point. Yeah, exactly. I think the point for a lot of students, like seniors or juniors in high school, is
Hmm.
like you'll have like these big top three schools, and that's great. Like shoot for those, and if you make it, and
Yeah.
if you financially able,
Right.
absolutely. Um,
Exactly.
but there's these ones that are kind of like hiding right under your nose, and you're like, oh, there
Uh-huh.
you go. That
Exactly.
you know what I
You
mean?
want to
Like
take advantage. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Like I'm sure. So was UCO like always your goal, or was there like a
Uh,
push for, and then you kind of just found UCO?
well, I got accepted to OSU, and then I decided
Oh no way.
not to go there, and then so I just ended up at UCO
There you
just
go. Yeah, yeah.
for the second option. So yeah,
Cool.
worked well.
Awesome. So electrical engineering. That's right. That's what you're studying.
Right.
So anything, are any resources at UCO that help you kind of guide your path as far as what's going to happen after school? Like, is there a career resource center or anything at UCO that helps you with that?
Yeah, there's a career center called STLR. I'm
Okay.
not sure what the acronyms stand for, but it's pretty much like helping you. You go there with your resume. They can give you like not they can't give you internships, but they can like put you in the path of internships and
For
different
sure.
stuff like that. So yeah, it's a really cool resource if you're a college student and when you're first starting, kind of just like me. So
Yeah, of course. Give you like connections. Do they connect you to like any companies like directly, or is it just kind of like showing you where to go, stuff like that?
yeah, I think it's more showing you where to go.
Right, right.
They had like a career fair thing where they bring in
Yes.
companies and then you could give them your resume and stuff like that. So
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think most schools have that. I love that. Yeah, I know USF has one as well. I'm sure most schools do. Yeah, and the point that I like to make about that is like since most schools do have that, it's
uh-huh.
really like if the student like if you look for it, it's there, right?
Right, right,
A lot of people will say like, oh, there's not really much going on at my school, or like, yeah, I'm studying, but I don't really know what else to do. But if you
right.
look for it,
Exactly. You'll
it's
find it.
definitely there. You'll find it, right? So yeah,
Hmm.
the UCL Career Center, that's cool. I know for myself, with chemistry. There's so many opportunities here at USF. Um,
Hmm.
my this university, it's more research based.
Okay.
So for the medical field,
Okay.
you've got so many
Interns. Yeah.
opportunities. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So so yeah, specifically with electrical engineering then, what kind of helped you? So you told me how you got to UCO, but what helped you get to electrical engineering? Like what was there anybody or anything that helped you pick that? Or was that another thing where you just kind of stumbled upon it, which is totally cool? Like tell me about that.
Right. Right. That was a long process. I pretty much honestly went down the line of engineerings, and
Yeah,
then I
sure,
just
sure.
finally ended up at electrical. So yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty
So
much how I got there.
you just knew you wanted to be an engineer and you're like electrical sounds cool.
Yeah, yeah, kind of like that, something like that. So
Yeah. So
just
what
went
kind
down the
of
process.
I, I am the opposite of engineer.
You good, man.
I'm
You're good.
terrible at math,
Yeah.
but so what kinds of classes would that mean you're taking electrical engineer classes?
So you're taking pretty much like circuitry, signals and systems.
Okay, sure.
Uh, yeah, sometimes you have to take all the basic classes like engineering physics,
Uh-huh. Right, right.
Chem 1 to Chem 1 and Chem 2, stuff
Uh-huh.
like that, kind of in that zone. I haven't really got to some of the major classes that I need to take as like a
Sure, sure.
senior upperclassman, but yeah, along
Still
those lines.
still taking like that prerequisites and stuff like that, yeah.
Right, a little bit.
Okay, cool, cool. And then like is there like a bunch of labs with that too? I'm sure with like engineering.
Yeah, especially at UCO, like
Mm-hmm.
most of the colleges don't have a lot of labs, but since I
Sure.
switched to UCO, UCO is very lab heavy, so they there's a pretty much with every class there's always a lab. So
There's some sort of lab, which is cool.
yeah,
I don't know about you. I mean, I know
uh,
like in the middle of taking all these exams, you have to worry about the labs too, which is like annoying.
right.
But for sure, like for me, most classes where I have a lab, I learn so much more because I'm
Yeah,
actually
this is true.
doing
You're
what I did, learned in the
exactly
lecture. Isn't that cool?
hands on, right?
Yeah, the hands-on, which I'm sure for chemistry it helps. I'm sure for engineering it's
Right.
way more helpful to be
Yeah.
able to do stuff. So definitely the point to make there is like if you can get the
Uh-huh.
hands-on experience, go for it. So good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So let's get to our next question. Kind of a little bit of a quiz, I guess you could say. Any idea what an association is? What Q careers has to do with associations?
I guess association would be like pretty much meeting new people or having like a group that does a specific sort of thing, kind of like a club or something like that, I
For
guess,
sure.
from my interpretation.
Yeah, no, you're definitely that's not wrong. That's pretty close.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so here, let me tell you. So pretty much the idea that Q Careers has is working with associations, and an association is well, you've heard of them, I promise, like American Heart Association, American
Right.
Medical Association. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, that I've heard of that." That's what an association is. So it's basically a group of professionals from their fields. I'm sure there's an American Engineering Association or whatever it may be called. I promise there is one. But
Right.
yeah, they all get together. It's leaders in the field. It could be CEOs. It could be, business owners. It could be engineers that are working in the field and stuff like that. And they get together and they say, hey, we want to make this organization that can educate the public about what this field is like. And so Q Careers' idea is to look at the perspective from guys like us that are, 18, 19, 20, um,
Uh-huh.
getting into college or in high school still or leaving college. And we want to bridge the gap between those people and associations and say,
Okay.
um, so yeah, so once we get to kind of the later phase, if you go on with this and Heather, kind of puts you through to formal interviews,
Hmm.
you'll actually be interviewed. You'll be part of that process. So you'll be helping us interview professionals.
Okay.
So yeah, so that'll be really cool. So hopefully you can get
Right.
connected with an engineering professional. It might
Right.
not be the case. You might get a business professional or marketing professional.
Hmm.
But the idea would be the same. You'd be asking questions from the perspective of people like us, like so like what do you do? Or like how much money do
Right.
you make? Questions that we actually have, and
Right.
then we can output that information to other people.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
so
Awesome. This sounds
yeah, so
amazing.
exactly right. When I heard about it, I was like, yeah, I'm all for it. So,
Right.
that's the goal. That's what associations are, in case you're wondering. So now you know.
Hmm.
So
Right.
yeah, that's really cool. And then let's get to the last question then. So, kind of looking back to the future now, or to the
Hmm.
future now. Um, Anything that you have lined up? I know you said that you still have plenty of classes today. So do I. I have like 3 years left of school. Um,
Right. Yeah, it's a
but
lot.
yeah, I know, right? But anything you're looking forward to afterwards in terms of like a career, maybe you have an internship or like an actual job lined up? What kind of follows after your education?
Well, I'm trying to get an internship actually probably starting this summer, so I'm going to be applying to like everywhere. So
Yeah,
just to have that experience under my belt when I graduate, to have at least something lined up when I go to like a job interview, so they'll know that I
oh, for
have
sure.
some sort of experience. I didn't just like go to college and that's it. So
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to do that, and then like trying to get as much experience as I can, just because since engineering is so competitive, you have
hmm
like everybody doing pretty much the same thing, so kind of have to stand out above the crowd. So
for sure. Yeah, it is definitely a growing field, isn't it? I mean, like
yeah,
10, 15
it
years ago,
is.
nobody went to school for engineering. You just kind of did it, right? And now it's a
Right. Yeah,
big thing. Yeah,
it's
that's
really big.
cool. Yeah, I would say the same thing. Internships are so useful on
Hmm.
resumes, like you're saying, like resumes, biggest thing you could use it for. Um,
Right.
like you can say, hey, I've been in this. Maybe I haven't had a job yet, but I've obviously been. I've seen things. I've hands on. Same for my career goal, which is to be a doctor soon. If I shadow a doctor, like my market
Exactly.
price, you could say skyrockets.
Right.
So that's really
Exactly.
cool. And then one last question. It's actually not on this list, but I've been asking all the people that I interview. It's not a crazy question. Don't worry. But so if you're 20 years old now, if you're looking back at Joseph, 17 or 18 years old, senior year in high school,
Uh-huh.
and you could write him a letter, say, giving him some advice about the next couple of years,
Right.
what would that letter sound like to younger Joseph?
It'd probably sound like stop goofing off, take life serious. Yeah, focus on your goal and then just pursue it. So
Yeah, for sure,
probably
for sure.
be the gist of it.
Uh-huh, something like that for mine too. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun to get caught up in all the senior year like hype and all that, but
Right.
at one point you got to buckle down, right? Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Focusing on school will take you anywhere you want, and
Hmm.
you'll have all the time in the world after you graduate.
Exactly. That's right. That's right.
All right, cool. So I think that hits on everything. Thanks so much again for your time, Joseph.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
it's really nice to meet you. All right.